Hey guys, what's going on? I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet. I just finished doing a build in the new Corsair 400C, and I wanted to kind of give you my impressions on it. This isn't going to be necessarily a full review. However, I will link a few really good reviews on this case down below. But anyway, as you can see, at least from just looking at it like this, it looks amazing. The side panel window is, you know, what makes this case unique, or what sets it apart from similar cases. But I've always been a fan of that window when I first saw it in the 760T. So when they came out with this in a smaller form factor, I kind of jumped right on it. Now, as you'll see as I make this video, I kind of wish I didn't. I pulled this. This is my son's system. I pulled it out of the NZXT S340, which is an amazing case, essentially the same size as this, but better in pretty much every way except for it doesn't have this awesome, you know, smoked acrylic door, if you want to call it that. But anyway, bottom line is that for the flexibility that they claim to offer as far as like being able to mount, you know, fans and radiators on the top and the front, the case just isn't big enough. It's probably about 5% too small, and I know that sounds stupid, but literally a few millimeters here and there would have drastically improved the build experience in this case. To start off with, obviously I have a 240 millimeter radiator mounted in the top, but it is resting against regular old ballistic sport ram. Anything taller than this, which is a lot of RAM, there's no way this would work, or any 240 for that matter. It seems like maybe they could have pushed it a little bit closer to the window. Probably the better solution would have been to make the case a little bit wider to allow for more options, but they didn't, and you know, luckily, you know, it worked out for me, but you know, I don't know, maybe a lower profile RAM would be better. You know, I don't think the radiator's literally touching the PCB on the RAM, so hopefully that's not going to cause any problems long term. I don't think it will, but I even tested out putting the 140 millimeter fans in the top. Those were pressing up against my cable management and wiring at the top. I mean, really, the case probably could have been a little bit taller. There's no breathing room in this case, which, you know, I could see if it was a micro IT or a mini ITX case, or you know, something like that. But for a mid tower, you know, I like the compact size, but it needs to be a little bit bigger. There's no room at the bottom of the ATX power supply to route any cables. If you were using a lot more of those headers, you know, especially if you put these stupid shrouds on, which seems like a good selling feature, but just watch the OC3D video. He explains really well why those things suck. So I took them out because, you know, they cause too many problems, and once you try to adjust them to work for you, they just simply don't. So that's kind of disappointing, because, you know, I thought the shrouds were a really neat idea, but you know, this doesn't look terrible. But anyway, but other than that, you know, there is good mounting flexibility in the front. I have 240 millimeter fans there, but you could easily mount a radiator. Wouldn't really have worked out in my case because of the way the Swift-Tech's designed. I mean, I probably could have made it work, but it wouldn't have been the look I was going for. Routing that tubing would have been a little awkward. But yeah, it's so close. I mean, I'm disappointed, especially since it's $100 and you can pick up an S340 for $70. And the S340, in my opinion, is it's a better quality. It's a much better experience to build in. You know, I would say that the only reason to get this case is for this window. The worst part about this case is in the back. Oh, and I should point out, the front panel here is a freaking pain in the ass to get off. It doesn't just pop out with like round plugs like most of them do. There's little tabs in the side that you got to reach in with your fingers. There's 3 on each side, and kind of like release them. I don't really think that's necessary. You know, most other manufacturers have been able to figure out an easier way to do it, but whatever. So let me turn this around, see if I can show you. I'm going to turn it off. Sorry about this. So the back is, or I should say just cable management in general is an absolute nightmare in this case. Again, a few extra millimeters of space would have made all the difference in the world. But again, you know, I have a fully modular power supply. I've got a few extras because of, you know, there's a little fan header here because of the way that SwiftTech thing works. But these dry sleds, like, they suck. Like, if you populated more than one, I mean, trying to route all the additional SATA connectors and SATA power connectors would be just, I don't know. But, I mean, there's hardly any space back here. You know, I could see if this was 5 years ago, you know, in cases before they really got down with the whole cable management aspect of things. But I mean, as far as all the newer cases that I've built in, which I've had experiences in just about all of them, this is just, I don't know. I mean, literally, I don't know. It's really frustrating. The only saving grace is the way that the back attaches. Luckily, you don't have to guide it into like little slots. You literally you'll stick the front in, and I'm not doing a good job showing this, but you'll stick the front in and you can kind of just jam the back on and get it to meet the screws and screw it in. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure that the panel bows out a little bit. I didn't look at it that closely, but yeah, thankfully they designed the panel that way. Otherwise, I don't know how the hell I would ever get it on. I'm not even sure if this stuff fits in there. You know, this isn't like, I could have spent maybe a little bit more time on this cable management, but it's pretty darn good. And I've had to shove most excess cabling like underneath the hard drive in this area here. But again, you know, 2 or 3 millimeters. I mean, this case is, I would say, you know, if it was a 1/2 inch taller and a 1/2 inch wider, it would be perfect. I mean, that may sound stupid, but if you were to build in this case, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, it just barely misses the cut as far as, you know, having a pleasurable building experience. But again, you know, it looks amazing, so there's that. But from a flexibility standpoint and just, you know, the experience of building in this case, I would certainly never recommend it. But you know, if you like the size, definitely go with the S340. But if you really love that window, I don't know, go for it. Obviously, you can make it work. I did. But it's just, you know, it's a pain in the ass. So anyway, this video is way longer than I thought it was going to be. So I'm going to stop and let you guys watch the real reviews. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, see you guys later.